Hi, welcome back. This is Shir number 6. This is Hamoneach, and we happen to be on Daf Chav Zayin Amid Beis. Today we're doing the top Rashi. It's line 1. This is the top Rashi of Chav Zayin Amid Beis. Ein holchin b'mamon achar harov, and it goes on the top line of the Gemara. This is the last step. This is the last step of the Gemara, and the Gemara this is the final answer. The question is, why does it switch from Kat to Chavis in these three Mishnayos? And Reb Papa answers, because to teach us that it's the same halacha, the same din. If somebody calls a Chavis a Kad and a Kad a Chavis, so then we would listen to him, and he can give you the Kad, what you call a Kad, if he calls it a chavis, and vice versa. And the Gemara says, why? The Gemara answers, because ein holchin b'mamon achar harov. That's what the Gemara answers. It's coming to teach me, ein holchin b'mamon achar harov. You don't follow the majority. So even though the majority calls a jug, and a barrel, but since there is a minority that calls a kad a chavis and a chavis a chad, we could follow the minority. Now, Tosfos here is going to be, Rashi here is really asking his father, why don't you follow the majority? After all said and done, 90% or 51%, but 90% of the people call a jug and a barrel. So when I went to the seller and I gave him money, and I said, give me a barrel, and he gave me a jug, why does he win? Why can't I say, I'm part of the majority? Most of us talk this way. And that's where Rashi is coming in to help us. Rashi is explaining, Ein holchin b'mamon achar harov. Here we don't follow, when it comes to money matters, we don't follow the majority. Why not? Okay, so there's a few basic words and concepts in Rashi. The first word, heicha, where. So that is a word that is a common word. Heicha, where, the mistapka, where there is a suffix. Now, this is a prefix, is dema, and the aleph is the at the end. That heicha, where there is a suffix. Now, sometimes this tough is sometimes added. So, what are you left with? If you like take out this tough for a second, you're left with suffix. Heicha de misafka, where there is a doubt. Okay, we're in doubt. We're in suffix. Where we are in doubt. Lan is us. Where we are in doubt. Milsa. Heicha de misafka lan milsa. Here, where we are in doubt about the matter. Milsa is the matter. Okay, we are in doubt, and that's what Rashi is telling us here. Rashi here is telling us that we have a doubt here. Heicha de misafka lan milsa, where we are in doubt. Kagon, also a very common word in Rashi. For example, where we are in doubt in the matter. Kagon, for example, hacha, here. In our case of the sale of the Kad and Chavis, ukagon, and for example, another case. And this case is later on Daf Mem Vav Amid Beis, and the case is called Hamocher Shol Lechavero. If somebody sells, he sells an ox Lechavero to his friend. He sells his ox to his friend. Notice the la in the beginning is to, vav at the end is his. He sells an ox to his friend, v'nimtza nagchan, and he finds that the ox is a nagchan, which means the ox gores. He's a goring type of an ox. Lo amrinan, we don't say. Lo, we none is we. Lo, don't amri, we don't say. Basar ruba zil. We basa is like we follow, we go after the majority. Okay, we don't say that we're going to go after the majority. V'lacharisha, and for plowing. Okay, lacharisha means for plowing. We don't say it's that we follow the majority. V'lacharisha kana'o, and he bought it. He bought the ox to plow. Okay, we don't say that that he bought the ox to plow. But that's ox to bought it. We don't say that he bought it. He bought it to plow. Most people v'havitos, and it is a mistake. And it is a mistake. We don't say that. We're not going to say that buying this animal is a mistake. Okay? In other words, the case is as follows. I go to a buyer. I'm a buyer. I go to a seller and I say, listen, I want an ox. Now, 90% of us want oxes in order to plow. That's it was an agricultural society. People want oxes to plow. Now, there's a small amount, about 10%, that want oxes to shecht. Okay, they want to shecht an ox. So the seller comes, and I go to the seller, and I say, I want an ox. And I buy the ox, and I take it into my backyard, and the next thing I know, he's goring me. I go back to the seller, I said, what'd you sell me? You sold me an ox. That's a nagchan, that gores. I don't want an ox that gores. I need an ox for plowing. The mocha says, I'm sorry, I sold you an ox, it's for goring. Now, the buyer myself says, what do you mean you bought it for selling, for slaughter? 90% of us buy oxes in order to plow with, and we can't plow with such an ox. So I would say, well, let's follow the majority. The majority of us want to buy an ox to plow, and therefore you should sell me an ox to plow, and if I can't plow with it, I want my money back. It's a bahavitos, it should be a mistake. But we say no. We don't follow the majority, Ella, but rather, this is more like of a function word. The word Ella is but rather. It also means that we are going to, in its function, it means we are going to reject the previous. In other words, anything before the Ella is wrong. He says, don't say that we follow the majority. Ella, but rather, Amma, we will say, Hamotzi mechavero alav haraya. That we say that we follow, if you want to take something, this is a concept, a major concept, all over Shas. If you want to take something away from your friend, you have to bring a proof. In English, it's called possession is 9/10 of the law. But the concept is, if you hamotzi mechavero, you want to take away something from your friend, you have to bring, the burden of proof is on you. And here you have to prove v'yachal lomalo, and the seller, v'yachal, he is able, okay, and he is able, lomalo, to say to the seller, to say to him, l'shchita machartev lach, for, la is for, or to, for slaughtering, machartev, I sold it, lach, to you, I sold it for slaughtering. And therefore, he wins, and the seller wins, and we don't follow the majority. So Rashi is telling us here also, when it comes to the kad and the chavis, we're talking about where the buyer gave the seller the money, and the seller is now holding on to the money, and the seller is I am asking for a barrel, a big barrel, and I gave him the money, and he gives me a jug, a smaller jug. So maybe he'll give me 2 or 3 jugs, the same amount of the money, but he gives me a jug. So I say, no, I'm part of the majority. And he could say, no, well, I'm mulsik, I'm holding on to the money. When I say barrel, I mean when I say chavis, I mean a small jug. And hamotzi mechaver levaraya. It's on you to prove that that's not what we had in mind.